Crash was directed by Paul Haggis and controversially won Best Picture in the year 2006. The basic premise of Crash shows us the daily lives of Los Angeles men and women who struggle with racism and, well, I guess other things in their lives too. The one question on everyone's mind about the film Crash was how did this film manage to win Best Picture in the year 2006? It actually came out at a film festival in 2004 and then was released worldwide to all audiences in 2005. So a lot of people even argued that this film was not eligible to win in the year 2006, but it did, and it beat several other really good movies. And I look at the movie Crash and I say, I don't quite get how this movie was nominated for Best Picture, let alone won the whole thing. I don't even know how to tackle Crash because this film is a scrambled mess of ideas, and in general, Crash is a very messy film with messages that come off as hazy rather than clear, and has a terrible story. Oh wait, there's a story? Alright, so I'm just going to go right through the characters and their stories to make things simpler. We have Detective Don Cheadle in the movie, by far the most boring character in Crash. He doesn't really do anything the whole time. You tend to forget he's even in the movie because of how rare his appearances are. Don Cheadle, I don't know why you're in this movie. It would have been nice had his character been given more to do, but at the end of the day, he's very forgettable. We have a Persian store owner. This guy is a complete moron. He acts like he doesn't understand English when he does, and then pays for it later in the film when he doesn't get his door fixed despite being recommended that he does, and someone breaks into his store near the middle act of this movie, I would say. Ludacris and Larenz Tate are also in Crash. Ludacris has god-awful dialogue for most of this movie and complains about racism a lot, but does himself no favors by taking part in a racial stereotype that's always associated with African Americans, and that's being a criminal. His character in the movie is a criminal, and yet he complains and complains about racial stereotypes and people being racist towards him. Why would you complain about this so much if you take part in a racial stereotype? His friend in the film, played by Larenz Tate, is one of the only decent characters in Crash, and we'll get to him a little bit later in this review because there's one scene I have a lot to say about. Michael Pena is in Crash, and he's one of the other okay characters in the film. He has a daughter, so you have reasons to care for him and his daughter, his family. Oh look, Sandra Bullock and Brendan Fraser are also in Crash. Oh wait, hi Brendan Fraser, it's been such a long time since we've seen you. The plotline with Brendan Fraser's character involving a murder pretty much goes nowhere, and he's not in this movie that much either, just like Don Cheadle. And Sandra Bullock is by far the most useless, disgusting character in all of Crash. She is super racist and doesn't leave her house except for one scene in the beginning. I don't have much else to say about Sandra Bullock's character because, like a few other characters in this movie, Sandra Bullock is barely even in the film, and at the end of the day, I don't understand why Sandra Bullock was casted in this movie if she wasn't given much to do, and her last scene in Crash is, well, pathetic. I don't understand the point of her character. She's very racist to start in the movie about Michael Pena's character, and at the end, she says to the cleaner, I guess the cleaning lady in her house, she's like, "You're my best friend." And that's the end of her character, I guess. Matt Dillon is paired with Ryan Felipe in the film. They both play cops, and Matt Dillon is overly racist the whole time and creepy. There's a scene where he's groping Thandie Newton's character, and I wish it was not in the movie because not only is it hard to watch, but it's just gross in general. Ryan Felipe's character seems okay at first as well, but I do have a lot more to say about him by the end of this review. And finally, going back to Thandie Newton, she is paired with Terrence Howard. These two are married in Crash. Terrence Howard plays a complete moron. He lashes out at cops who have guns, and he tries beating up criminals who also have guns. Like, what is this guy thinking? He's just gonna stop them from shooting him? No, that's not how these kinds of things work. The characters that he tries beating up are Ludacris's and Larenz Tate's characters. The whole scene is just... This is why I just can't stand this movie. it doesn't add up why his character is so grumpy and why he's lashing out at these cops and criminals. Just, dude, relax. I do like one line of dialogue he says at the end of this film, though, to Ludacris's character. I thought that was nice. I think my main issue with Crash, besides one or two other things I'll get to in a little bit, is how some of these characters, their inclusions in the film, it doesn't feel necessary. Their storylines go nowhere, and a lot of these storylines don't even wrap up for some characters. Like, for instance, Matt Dillon, his character, his dad is sick. He has some sort of bladder infection, and yet there is no conclusion to either of their characters. And I'm like, why the heck is his dad in the movie? And why is Matt Dillon in this movie if their storylines don't go anywhere? But what I really dislike about Crash is how this movie is not subtle at all with its themes such as racism, and that's really stupid. The point of having themes like racism is to cause some conflict within the audience. You're not just supposed to have a one-sided direction of how you feel about a certain character or storyline, but this movie doesn't really seem to care about that. It's not subtle at all about its themes and racism in the film. Characters will just say things completely racist, and it's like, yes, just agree with us that racism is bad. It's like, dude, we know that racism is bad, so why aren't you being more subtle with this? I don't necessarily mind the scene where Matt Dillon's character is rescuing Thandie Newton's when she gets in a car crash. That scene felt more powerful than the others in the film. I would love to talk about the Persian store owner and Michael Pena scene. This is the climax of their storylines, where the Persian store owner, by mistakenly, shoots Michael Pena's character's daughter, but she isn't actually shot, and she's okay because it was just blanks in his gun. They weren't real bullets. And Michael Pena's face when he thinks his daughter was just shot and killed, it's pretty much hysterical. I laugh at it so much. But here's what I really wanted to talk about. The Ryan Phillippe scene with Larenz Tate where he picks him up on the side of the road. Ryan Phillippe, his character the whole time, you're like, he's a good guy, he hates racism, he doesn't get along with Matt Dillon because that guy is racist, he's an a-hole. But then in this scene, his character is a completely different character, and all of a sudden, he gets really annoyed with Tate's character and shoots him because he thinks he has a gun. I've seen this so many times before, but in this movie, the execution is so poor because, oh my god, the character has changed so much over the course of an hour-and-a-half film. No character seems to stay the same with their morals and with their ideals. They change on the dot and it doesn't make any sense. I could say so much more, but I'm just gonna stop there. Crash. How the heck did this movie win Best Picture in the year 2006? I can't comprehend what the Academy were thinking back then. It doesn't add up. You could have gone with so many better options, but no, I guess Crash was the best option for them back then. I'm giving Crash a score that crashes right down in their hearts and souls, a score of a 42%. Now, there are a few things that I don't mind with Crash, like it's not an impossible movie to watch. It does have some entertaining scenes. Some of the characters, like I said, are okay, but for the most part, this movie did not at all deserve to win Best Picture, nor did it deserve to get even nominated for Best Picture. This movie should have been nowhere near Academy season, but somehow it got there. Alright, for those of you who hated Crash like me, or thought it was okay, or loved it, be sure to let me down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. If you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.